An ecosystem can be looked at as a complex network of interactions. All organisms within an ecosystem need to carry out the basic life functions. All organisms require nutrients in order to grow and survive. These nutrients include things like water, oxygen, vitamins, foods, etc. First group of organisms we're going to look at are called producers. Producers, or autotrophs, are organisms that can make their own food. And they usually do this using energy from the sun in a reaction called photosynthesis. So they take in energy from the sun and turn it into a form of chemical energy. Almost all land-dwelling plants are producers, and in the ocean they are known as algae and phytoplankton. Producers are also an important energy source for other organisms. Organisms that cannot make their own food are called consumers, or heterotrophs. These are organisms that need to consume other organisms to get their nutrients, or organisms consume other organisms or biotic waste to survive. They consume other organisms and break down the chemical bonds within these organisms to obtain energy. There are different levels or different kinds of consumers. We'll go through them all in turn. First, we have what are called the primary consumers. Primary consumers are also called herbivores. And herbivores are consumers that eat producers. So they're basically vegetarians. So for example, many insects, such as caterpillars, some larger animals, such as elk, that graze. Different from herbivores are carnivores, and carnivores are consumers that eat other consumers. An example of a carnivore would be a killer whale. The meat eaters. Consumers that eat both producers and other consumers are called omnivores. An example of a local omnivore would be a bear. Eats berries and it also eats other animals. Consumers that feed on waste material are called detrivores. An example of a detrivore would be an earthworm. And consumers that break down waste material into its molecular components are called decomposers. So for example, decomposers would be many fungi and bacteria. Decomposers are really important because they make the nutrients contained in waste material available again via a process called biodegradation. They are helping to recycle the nutrients. Another type of ecological relationship we're going to be looking at is the predator-prey one. So predation occurs whenever a consumer captures and eats another organism. The predator is the organism that does the capturing and the eating, and the prey is the one that gets captured. So an example of a predator-prey relationship would be a mountain lion and a deer. Now, at first it may seem like the predator-prey relationship is one-sided, and that that all that really happens is that the prey population is going to go down. But in fact, there tends to be a cyclic rise and fall of both populations. This is called the predator-prey cycle. And the predator-prey cycle is the continual rise and fall in the population of predator and prey. It's a dynamic equilibrium system. Which means it's always changing but also in balance. And what happens is, as more prey are captured, their population will decline, leaving less available food for predators. The predator population will then begin to decline. This allows the prey population to rebound or to increase again. Then the cycle repeats itself. Scroll down there. Let's just use this. Here's an idealized predator-prey cycle graph. And what's important to notice on here, if we look at here's the prey, and here's the predators, and this is their population versus time, that if you compare, say, peak to peak or trough to trough, there's what we call a time lag. So there's a gap. I'm going to label that on here, time lag. So they don't happen simultaneously. After the number of prey increases, it takes some time for the number of predators to increase. And this is because it takes time for reproduction to happen. When the number of prey goes down, it takes time for the number of predators to go down. This is an idealized one that looks very nice. In reality, they look more like this. This is an actual data showing snowshoe hare, snowshoe rabbit, and the lynx. So the lynx prey on the rabbit, and you can see that you get the general shape is correct, but it's not as perfect. And that's because there can be other factors at play.